Hello folks! Today is another update on my Backdating a Rivarossi FEF-3 project. With the ash pans installed, I needed to add a Cellar's exhaust injector. This injector is visible in photos of coal burning FEFs, as well as brass models I was also using for reference. This part is a Wiseman Backshops Part HBS 029 Cellar's injector, purchased from Wiseman Model Services on eBay. I primed it with some Tamiya primer for a future paint and glued it to the end of the exhaust pipe that came from Athearn. As there's a bit more pipe work on the fireman's side that connects to the injector, I used styrene rod just glued to the ends of the injector and positioned it as I saw fit from photos, just as best as I could. This is about the extent of the additions this model will get, I think. But the important part is what will be under the shell. We have the Decoder Buddy Mini from the Acela with a single warm white LED going to the front, and a TCS Keep Alive up at the smoke box. A scale sound system speaker is in the tender, and there's a 2-pin plug that allows for the tender and locomotive to separate. The motor I've settled on is an FK280SA can motor from eBay that is rated for 11,000 RPMs at 12 volts. The slow speed performance with the Loksound decoder is quite nice. There's not a whole lot of juddering. And because the pickups on these Rivarossi models are so poor, the current keeper was pretty much a necessity. Without the sound on, there's a good amount of charge, more than enough to last through any slow speed crawls through turnouts. I eventually decided to remove the TCS decoder from the Athearn FEF and instead put it in this Rivarossi. That Athearn now has a Loksound, but here's a brief test with the sound in the Rivarossi. I did finally order some Cal scale marker lamps to put on the smoke box, and I may add LEDs needed to light them up since there's not a lot of special features otherwise on this model. I filled in the hole from where the Mars light was, and I'm happy with how that turned out. The rear of the tender has had a lot of sanding to smooth out where the original backup light was. I used a small amount of super glue on a pin to fill in some of the rivet detail that was lost when I was sanding. A brake light will have to be added at some point. I had considered lighting up the marker lamps back here as well as that brake light, but I really don't want a lot of wires between the locomotive and tender with this project. And that's where we currently stand. This was the hard part. Honestly, getting the motivation to install the motor, technically my third try with different motors, was the hurdle, but seeing it move and hearing it make sound is a real nice boost to the motivation to work on it. Once the marker lamps come in, and are installed with or without LEDs, I'm leaning towards with, though, because I really like that feature, painting is the next big step. The boiler will get a coat of Tamiya flat black, and probably a matte aluminum for the smoke box and the firebox, as opposed to the usual graphite color that's more common on UP Steam. It appears to be a much brighter color in the original reference photo of 843 I'm working on, so I think the brighter aluminum will, work here. The next video will likely be after it's painted. That's my goal, at least. And hopefully after that, we'll have a quick little running session before it gets lettered. And, well, yeah, until then, thank you so much for watching, folks.